At times you'll get an alarm from Keynote that shows availability of 0%. In this case, we've only got one test that has occurred in the last 15 minutes, which is my alarm look-back window. And that one test failed, so your availability went from 100% to 0%. That is a failure to configure the alarm correctly to include enough data points to soften up your availability threshold and let you reach a meaningful percentage. So how many tests are in your look-back window is dependent on two factors. One is how big is the look-back window, and the other factor is how many agents are running and how often each of those runs your test. So in my case, I've only got a 15-minute look-back window. That means I may get one, maybe two tests. The solution is to do one of two things. The first is either increase the number of agents and or the frequency at which they run. That will give you a much more recent alert when a problem pops up. The other solution is make your look-back window bigger. You can set it back to 2 hours back. That gives me a lot better granularity for availability, but the alarms may not be as recent depending on when the problem popped up. So those are two general solutions that you can use to make your alarms more actionable and less faulty. Now, one alternative, if you can't increase the number of agents or the frequency and you just want to make a simpler availability alarm, one recommendation we have is to evaluate the alarm based on data points instead of time. So if you click this data points radio button, you'll get a drop-down list below that lets you pick up to 20 tests to evaluate. What I recommend is to pick 5 data points, and that means we're only going to evaluate the latest 5 tests. And then set the availability threshold to 50%. And what that means is if 2 out of 5 are failing, you won't get alerted. But if 3 out of 5 fail, your availability would then drop to 40% and the alarm goes off.